Awesome. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Michele. How are you doing?
All right.
Thank you for giving me opportunity to interview you for my YouTube channel and podcast.
Oh, no problem at all. Let me just see. Okay, now I can see myself. Otherwise, I couldn't see if I were on camera. Okay, now I can see. Good.
Awesome. So I thought to tell about you and the work that you are doing. Also, you are into different things. You are Microsoft MVP and also GDE, and also you are a software architect and also software engineer, and you are into software industry for 10 plus years.
Yep.
So, can you please introduce yourself and can you tell about yourself to my audience?
Yeah, absolutely. So I am Michele. I'm from Milan in Italy. I work as a senior software architect at NearForm. Later on, maybe we can discuss more about what NearForm is doing. I'm a Google developer expert, Microsoft MVP. I published a book at the beginning of this year on Next.js specifically. And I'm also an international speaker, so I travel a lot, speaking at conferences all over Europe, mainly right now, and hopefully by the next year in Asia and US. I don't know, whenever I can go.
So, tell me about your work.
Okay, so I'm working in the developer experience team at Nearform. We're basically a team that is committed to open source software. So we have members in my team that are working full time on the Node.js runtime itself. There is other people like me that it's more involved into open source software that maybe it's I don't know, for example, some packages that we are maintaining as Nearform. I personally built a full text search engine in JavaScript. I'm maintaining it and I'm evolving it as part of the Nearform contribution for the open source again. So I'm mainly maintaining this package, but I'm also starting to work more and more with polyfills for the new JavaScript APIs, such that whenever the new internationalization APIs will be available on the newest browsers and runtime, we will also have some polyfills to make them work on older browsers and runtime. So right now I'm focusing a lot on polyfills and maintaining open source projects. And this is what I'm doing at Nearform right now. As I was saying, I also travel a lot. So part of my job is actually to travel all over Europe, mainly to go to conferences and speak in front of people and speak about open source software, about the JavaScript ecosystem, and wherever can be interesting for the audience, I would say.
So, what NearForm do?
Okay, so we are a professional services company. It means we do consulting on very large scale applications, but also startups and whoever needs some expertise on Node.js, DevOps, and JavaScript specifically. So we are able to identify bottlenecks in architectures and scale basically whatever our clients need to infinite levels. We do our best to help our clients to scale their applications, to create new architectures, to write new software whenever they need it. But we do also, consultancy in a fully distributed way. So we are full remote. There's no office where we work from, and that really helps us being more and more productive. So I'm really happy to work here.
So, what are your favorite projects as a software architect?
Oh, excuse me, what's the question again?
What are your favorite projects that you did as a software architect?
Okay, so I part of my job is doing architectural reviews, which means that we might have a client that has architectural problems, scalability issues, and they need to understand how to scale their applications. So they come to Nearform. We have the right expertise to help them, and that's the part that I love most about my job right now when working on clients, um, because I can really help people scaling their businesses. And sometimes it happens that we have very, very large and famous companies requiring for help. Other times we have startups and scale ups willing to scale even more. So you always learn a lot when you're doing that kind of activity. So that's what I love doing when doing architecture job. And as I was saying, I'm a senior software architect, so that's what I meant to do. But also, I gotta say, I prefer doing developer relations. So going traveling and writing open source software, it's definitely what I love most.
Can you say some of your experiences?
Excuse me?
Can you share your some of your experiences?
Yeah, so I can't share our clients' names because they are under NDAs. So I can't really tell the names. I can share, for example, a typical work is, I don't know, a client that started with an MVP, with a very simple solution for their problem, and eventually the product needs to scale even more, and they don't know how to do that. So we use a lot of techniques, and again, our expertise, especially from the core Node.js team, that it's in our company to identify whatever is going wrong, and then we are able to tell them how they should go and what they should do to scale their products. So I can't tell about specific cases because it's we signed a non-disclosure agreement, so I can't go really in depth about that. But I can talk about open source if that's something you'd be interested in.
So, as an architect, what is your job?
Yeah, as I was saying, my job is to help people scale their products, basically. So I just look at the whole architecture blueprint, the diagrams, and I do understand what's going wrong. And I also run benchmarks. I run pressure testing. I run a large series of um, I don't know, of tests to identify what's going wrong. And then I tell our clients what they should do. If they're not able to do what I'm telling them, we can offer solutions for helping, them coding together and getting to the solution.
What kind of projects are that you have worked with? You don't need to mention the names and the details, but can you say for which industries you worked for?
Yeah, basically almost every kind of industry. For example, when COVID was spreading amongst Europe, NearForm, and this is a public project, so I can tell, NearForm was the company that created the COVID tracker app for Ireland. So, this is not something you do every day. So we've been able to do it. We've been able to really help people getting safe and staying safe as much as possible. So this is one kind of industry that it's quite unexplored, I would say. But um, there are, I would say we don't limit ourselves to just one industry. Whatever it's needed, we can do it.
What you like most about your job?
uh, Again, being able to work with real experts, and this is especially thanks to NearForm, because in NearForm you really work with the experts in their areas.
Tell me you as an international speaker.
Yeah, so basically part of my job is to go to conferences. So what I do is I prepare talks and then I go give talks about literally whatever. I have talks about distributed systems, talks about cryptography, talks about front-end development, back-end development, Next.js, or how to build a full text search engine from scratch. So algorithms and data structures. I don't have a deep focus on just one topic. I'd like to talk about whatever I like. So I submit my papers to conferences, and conferences seems to be happy to receive um, proposals for a broad range of topics. So this is what I do as an international speaker. This year I had like 40 different events, almost one per week, and I totally love this part of my job.
So before this conversation, I was watching a video on YouTube where you are speaking and you're explaining about some topics. So
Yeah, what video you're referring to?
yeah, which is there in your website that you have shared.
Oh, you mean, okay, you mean the topics I talk on my website?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, again, I don't have a specific topic. I go whatever I like. So there's one day where I feel like I can, I don't know. I have days where I want to talk about, algorithms and data structures. So I create a blueprint, I create the slides, and then I send them to conferences, waiting for them to accept it. Other days, I don't know. I like talking about distributed systems, so I plan talks about that. I don't have a specific topic. I love the IT world in a whole.
Do you remember your first job?
Yeah, so my first job was in IT. I was an application specialist, which means I ran installations of new softwares for our clients. So we had a development team, they developed the solution, and I go install and make courses to let people know how to run the software. Then I started looking into how to write that software, and this is how I started working as a software engineer. So one bug at a time, I started fixing bugs, and yeah, here I am right now.
And I'm sure in this 10 years you have learned a lot and you saw the evolution of the way the software is developed and the architecture uh, designs that you might have seen. So can you explain the change that you have, the evolution of this 10 years that you
Yeah,
observed?
yeah. So as I was saying, I started as an application specialist. Then I didn't like the job, and after a few months, I started looking into JavaScript and PHP and Ruby. So I've seen many different approaches and architectures and whatever. Um, but then I knew that if I wanted to be a developer, I needed to go to another company, which was more focused on software development. So I joined a company that nowadays has been bought by Accenture. And I've worked here for a couple of almost 3 years, I would say 2 years and a half as a senior software engineer. So my career progression started there actually because I joined as a software engineer. After 1 year and a half, I became a senior, uh, and I started writing articles on Medium. So I started creating content online. I started talking at conferences thanks to this company, and eventually, after one conference talk in the public, there was some person that later became my manager at Paramount. So Paramount, the television studios. I've been working there for almost 2 years, and this is where my architecture skills grew the most because I was working in the architecture and platform team. So I had a lot of time working with absolute experts in this area, especially on Node.js again, which paved the ground for me to enter as a senior software architect later on in NearForm. So my career is quite linear, I would say. Changing jobs has been very beneficial because every time I had the possibility to work on something different, and I really liked the career progression that I had.
And you as a Microsoft MVP.
Okay, so I've been nominated Microsoft Most Valuable Professional around December 2021, I guess, and eventually I became one in February 2022. And it's mostly because of my contribution to the community, where I give talks, I write blog posts, I write content online, I publish content. So doing this kind of activity, it's something that Microsoft and also Google care a lot about, especially because I'm talking a lot about both Google and Microsoft products such as TypeScript for Microsoft. So I'm working a lot with TypeScript, so I do advocate a lot for it. And yeah, that's basically the reason why I'm an MVP. After you publish a lot of content, after you create a lot of community and you do a lot of community work, this is something you can aspire to, and has been really, really beautiful to be part of this family.
And you as GDE.
Yes, I'm also a Google developer expert in Google Cloud. And that's because, again, I've been working a lot as a software architect in the last years, and I've been able to focus on Google Cloud. But it's not just about your knowledge in a particular area, such as Google Cloud, but it's, again, the community work that you do. So being GDE means that you not only create content, but you create content on Google Cloud. And it's not just being an expert, but you also know how to engage people on those topics.
How you are able to do multitasking?
Yeah, the secret is plan for the long run. So when you have a plan, you know that some days you have to focus on a specific task. Another day you have another focus. The key here for me it's being able to schedule whatever I need to do day by day. So I don't actually multitask. I do one thing at a time, and I do it with all the focus that I can. But I have a very strict schedule that I have to respect in order to be able to create some results.
How you are able to adopt from one to another? Architecting is something that is different, and speaking as an international speaker, you are explaining about something in public that is different, and writing again in blogs explaining the topics. So three different skills.
I would say being in a company that allows you to do that as a job really helps. In my past companies, I wasn't able to do that as a full-time job, so I had to spend a lot of free time creating content, going to conferences on my own. But right now, I have NearForm that it's sponsoring me for doing that. So it really helps because I can dedicate part of my time doing this kind of activities, and this is how uh, you grow your potential and then have all the time you need for doing that. And I would say the key for me has been joining a company that really helped me getting there.
So, what are those qualities that help you to become Microsoft MVP, Google Developer Expert, as well as a software architect today? So those qualities that definitely will help a lot of people in the world who is watching and listening to you.
Yeah, so I think soft skills are an essential part of the journey. um, Many developers tend to grow their hard skills, meaning I need to learn Java, I need to learn JavaScript, I need to be the best in Golang, in PHP, whatever. But then you have to remember that if you want to be part of the MVP and GDE program, you also need to develop your soft skills. So you need to be able to talk with people, you need to be able to help people, to mentor people, and to create content that is suitable for every kind of audience. So uh, again, the best thing to do, in my opinion, but that's just my personal opinion, of course, is to be able to understand your audience and target your audience with your content and being helpful, actually helpful. So understanding how you can be helpful, it's a soft skill, and it's really hard to develop, requires a lot of time, but that's something essential that you want to grow if you really want to be part of the MVP or GD families.
So, how you are able to do writing or speaking or writing software?
As I was saying, it's just that I have a company that really sponsored this kind of jobs. So I'm able to do that as part of my full-time job. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to do it.
Uh, as an international speaker, I'm sure you will be interacting with different country people. So how is that experience talking with different individuals?
Oh, you mean interacting with people?
Yeah, interacting with different country people.
Yeah, that's one of the best parts of my job, I would say, because it's really, really nice to see different cultures, different people gathering all together. And this makes you feel like borders are just something artificial, because when you are in another country and they really want you to be part of their traditions, being part of their culture for that moment, you understand that there's no real difference between you and other people, and you just have to embrace every single difference and celebrate every single difference you would find in every country. And this is something beautiful that you can only experiment when traveling a lot. And this is definitely one of the best parts of my job.
You started as a developer, you created softwares, now you are understanding the top view of the software. You have earned a lot of experience in this in this field. So, as a human being, if you observe how software is contributing to the human life.
Yeah, that's a nice question. Um, it's not easy to reply because software has been very beneficial for the world as we know it today. And I would say open source software specifically has been the key for the humanity to grow at the levels we are growing today, which is not always good, because sometimes we go a little over what we can do as a humankind. Um, so I would say on one side we have progress where software can help us creating more efficient, I don't know, researches, especially in the healthcare, or we can have safer cars, we can have safer, I don't know, whatever can be safer, can be improved thanks to software nowadays, especially with artificial intelligence, whatever. So there are a lot of areas where software has enhanced our lives. On the other side, sometimes we have to slow down a bit, in my opinion. So it's all good, but we are going a bit too fast, I would say. And an ethical approach to software development should be the top priority for everyone at this stage.
So, how you are able to adapt yourself to the new projects which are from different industries? Is that not a challenging job for you as an architect?
Oh, no, because at the end of the day, you almost have the same problems. You almost have the same architectures. We already have some architecture patterns that works well in almost every industry. So the industry itself, it's not really important at this stage, but the high level picture shows the bottlenecks and how we can improve. It's just following well-known and tested patterns. So sometimes you need more creativity to reach these patterns because there are many constraints. But I would say it's quite easy actually to determine how to scale an application after you have a lot of experience in that field. So not a big problem.
So you are saying it's not a big problem for you to solve problems. So there might be something in your foundational level that might help you to do solve problems today better. So what is that?
No, it's just experience. Working with large scale companies teaches you what can go wrong, and being able to know what is going wrong and what goes wrong typically helps you like seeing the future of the architecture you are reviewing and understand that this architecture can or cannot work as you're intended. So the only real way to be a software architect working as a consultant is being experienced. So that's my only, the only suggestion I can give.
You are writing about Google products, also the Microsoft products. So what is the difference that you are observing?
Um, so I would say I am into very different categories when it comes to Google and Microsoft. Um, Especially on Google, I'm on Google Cloud. On Microsoft, I am on developer technologies. So they are not in contrast. I could say like I give a talk about deploying TypeScript on Google Cloud, and I get two birds on one stone, because I'm touching both the categories where I've been awarded from both companies. So it's really easy actually not to get in contrast. Like if I were Azure MVP and a Google Cloud Developer Expert, then it would have been much more difficult for me to do that. But it's not the case right now.
What is the difference between Microsoft and Google?
Oh, excuse me. What's that again?
What is the difference between the Microsoft and Google?
Yeah, there are a couple of differences. I can't really tell again because I'm under NDA with both companies. But for example, Microsoft sends you a physical prize at home. So I have my prize upstairs, and they send you a lot of swag every year. While Google, it's more about inviting you to local conferences, meetups, and whatever. So there are a lot of differences, but you really need to get into the programs to be able to understand the differences themselves, because many things I can't tell because of NDAs right now.
So at last, what do you say about yourself and about NearForm to the people who are watching this and listening to you?
What's that again? Sorry.
At last, what do you say about yourself and about NearForm to the people who are watching and listening to you?
Oh, so you mean what I can tell about NearForm?
Yeah. At last, what you want to say?
I'm not sure I understand the question. I'm sorry. Could you rephrase?
I'm saying at last, as an as an MVP, as a GDE, and also as a software architect, as also a person who is working in Nearform, there will be a lot of tech people who will be watching this video, also non-technical people watching and listening to our conversation. Do you want to say anything to them?
Oh, I would say if you're a technical person and you are in Europe, Brazil, US, or UK, feel free to submit your resume to NearForm because we are hiring a lot. So we are hiring in those areas. So Europe, UK, Brazil, and America and US. So if you're looking for a full-time remote job, this is where you want to look into. And here you can really find some real expertise. So this is where you typically can find very expert people that really can help you grow and become an MVP, a GD, because it can sponsor you to enter those programs. And here you can really make the difference.
I'll put the web link on the screen and also in the
Yeah,
description in this video. People who find our
thank
video
you.
on um, can you spell it for my podcast listeners?
Yeah, I can also write to you in the chat. So Nearform is spelled Nearform.
Awesome. It's great meeting you and talking with you, Michael. And I was not able to connect with you yesterday, but today I got an opportunity to talk and to know something about you and about the work that you're doing.
Yeah,
Keep
thank you.
also at last as an observer, as a person who is into software industry for a long time. I did masters in software engineering, also bachelor's in computer science and engineering, and also right now I'm preparing for AWS solutions architect and cloud engineer positions. So as a speaker, as an international speaker, as a software developer, what is your observation about my work? Have you seen any videos of mine on YouTube?
So I don't have a degree. I don't have a computer science background. Whatever I learned by experience, by making mistakes. So if you're looking into a job that evolves around software architecture, I would say the only real thing you can do is to make your experience in that field. So you can create your little startup, you can create your architectures, you can deploy them on the free plan on AWS or on the, I guess Google Cloud gives you like $300 for free when you first join. So this is where you really want to explore and experiment to be able to land a job as an architect. And you really need to understand how things works and how things integrate. So there are books that I can recommend, such as Writing Data Intensive Applications from O'Reilly. I think that's the title. I can't really remember, but it's an awesome book that can really help you understand how distributed systems, how data intensive systems works, because nowadays most of the things that fails in production are data intensive systems. So whenever you need to scale with a lot of data, this is where you want to look into. So experience is the best teacher right now.
I want the last observation of yours. I interviewed a lot of people who are into different companies in IT, also in other industries. So talking with experts like you who are already in the IT industry for a long time, also handling and working on different projects, talking with people like you, what I'm going to learn and how I'm going to put this in my work in coming days.
Oh, sorry, I'm not sure I understood the question. I'm sorry.
Talking with experts like you, who are already there in the industry, who solved a lot of problems, talking with them, talking with you people, and knowing it and sharing it with my audience, how this knowledge is going to be helpful for me if I work in IT in coming days.
Oh, okay, sorry. I think sometimes we hope that there is a simple path to get doing your dream job, such as being a senior architect, being an international speaker, being a book author, being GDE, MVP. But the truth is, the most useful thing I can tell you is that there is no short path to get there. There is a lot of work, hard work. There is a lot of things that you have to learn and a lot of failure before getting there. So how this interview, for example, can be beneficial for you and your audience. I just want to tell everyone that it's okay to fail. It's okay to make wrong assumptions, because this is where you're growing most, because you really face the fact that you're doing something wrong and you will never do the same wrong thing again. So no easy path. There's no online course that can really prepare you in 1 month to get there. This is years and years of failures. And I know it sounds bad, but this is how humanity progress, by failing one step at a time. Eventually you learn from your failures. So it's okay. Don't worry about that.
How these interviews will help me?
I think you've seen my career progression. You've seen how I started and where I am right now, which is not the final place where I want to be right now, but I'm working to get there at NearForm. So again, it will help you, because I feel like I want you to know that it will be okay when something will go wrong and you won't be able to manage it, because I wasn't able to manage many bad situations in my past, and I wanted someone to say that it was okay. Don't relax on that, but it's normal to make things crash sometimes. So don't worry about that. Have a dream to follow and just follow it. And one failure at a time. Again, this is what can be helpful for people, knowing that other people who have an established job title or whatever, they failed the exact same way everyone else failed in their past.
Great. Can I put this video on my YouTube channel with your permission?
Yeah, absolutely. Feel
And
free.
also, I put this audio and video clip on my podcast, website, internet, social media, everywhere with your permission.
Yeah. Feel free to do whatever you like. No problem at all.
Thanks, Michele, again for your time.
No problem. Thank you. Have a nice rest of the day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.